2021. How I like to build these things out is kind of start with what we want to produce, and then you kind of just build it all the way down. The number of units acquired. Now, this is where it kind of gets a bit difficult. If you want to diversify, I mean, most of us are on BRR, so you might then filter this. So I'm going to leave this kind of open for you as to strategy 1. And then we will have
strategy.
Strategy. Yeah, it's a new way of doing things. So, and then 2, strategy 3. Any more? So you'll have. See, I go quite deep with this, but I'll leave a bit of space in, so you kind of like, you know, you could have, like I would have owned SA, rented SA, managed SA, owned HMOs, rented HMOs, owned buy-to-lets. I suppose I'll put that in there. And then I've obviously got cleaning, linen, maintenance, blah, 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 blah. You know, all that sort of stuff that we sell as well. So, but for now, let's just keep it simple. So these are like the different strategies. And then what we want to do in here is kind of like fill in how many of them we want to achieve by the end of the year. And then equals sum of, fuck off. And then that will total it all up. I'm just gonna put this in here. Right, so then what we want to do is, so we've got our number strategy. Then what we need is, how should we structure this? Again, I go into a bit more detail, but so I like have gross revenue, net revenue. I have all my costs in here as well. But again, for the sake of just, I don't think you need to do that. I think just keep it simple, and just pretty much your net profits. You should know what each of the net profits are. 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll just put some context around this. So if we've got, like, let's say this is let's say it's managed rented SA. We want 3 of them. We want 1 managed, and we want 1 HMO, for example, right? So total acquisitions. When you get this sheet, try not touch any of the formula columns. So if you ever want to see if a column's got a formula in, just highlight the column if it's up there. It's not. If you highlight and it looks something like that, then don't touch it. Net revenue. So, you know, we might say, okay, well, would you put this per property? Yeah. Actually, I would have this on a data sheet. When you're building these sort of things out, the more organized you can get, the better. So format, number. So let's just say, keep it simple. So this was rented. So let's just say 500 quid is the average that we make per rented SA unit. 350 for a managed. Let's say we owned, we make 1,000 quid. Rented HMO, whatever, 850. Owned 1450, and single let, let's say 300. Okay, so this is our net revenue data input. Average per property. So all you need to do is change, when you decide which of these columns are, you just need to change and put your strategies in there, and then put these figures in here, and this will all change. What we then want to do is basically equals that times that. Copy that down. Copy that along. Oh, actually, hold on, that won't work. Date sheet B4, I need to lock that up. B5. So the idea by the time I finish this is you'll have a template to be able to use, and at the bottom of it, we'll know what our activity levels are going to be to achieve what we want to achieve. And then you just move the numbers around so you know exactly what you need to do. There we go. So, yeah, so that works. So we've got total acquisitions, and then we want our total revenue equals the sum of this. Now we want supposed to be total new revenue. So in here, obviously we're all going to have like reoccurring revenue already coming into the business. So what we want to do is include that in here. So let's just say whatever, 5 grand. I'll just put some figures in here: 2 grand, 1 grand, 3 grand, 4 grand. Whatever, grand. So this is what's coming in each month on each of the strategy lines already, because we want to basically know. So our total revenue is equals the sum of this plus that. So that's what's coming in month 1, assuming that we then acquire this. We then want to build it out, so you then want equals that plus that, and then put that through here. And was that? Just test this works. Second, bang in there. Yeah, okay, so that's what. Okay. Total revenue. If there's anything that you guys would like in a business plan that I'm not putting in, just shout it up and I can figure a way to put it in. But in idea, all we want to do is basically know what our numbers need to be. So, you know, if we want to know how much revenue So, well, actually, hold on. Net revenue, total net revenue, total new net revenue, that should be, and total net revenue per month. So that should give you an idea of where you're going to be based on. So if you want to earn like 100 grand here a month, then obviously you need to figure out, you just bang your numbers in here and it'll tell you what you need to do to get to 100 grand. Okay, based on the various strategies that you're operating under. What we then have is, so data sheet, and this is where I was kind of getting you to collect this data. So activity. So we have minutes or conversations opened, viewings booked, viewings attended, offers made, deals closed. You probably want this for, because I think the numbers differ quite a bit. So we then have I'm gonna have to label these to keep them right. So activity levels required. Has anybody got these figures? And I asked a few years, has anyone got them handy, or just so we can start using some live data? No? Okay. Piss poor preparation and all that bollocks. Piss poor planning equals piss poor performance. Right. Activity levels required. I'm going to split this into rent to rent and also into owned, and the same with this. So, and you'll have to keep these in the right columns. So if it's got an R next to it, it's rented. Well, I tell you what I'm going to do, right? I'm just gonna number of units acquired, rent to rent, SA. Number of units acquired, SA management. Number of units acquired, owned, SA. Number of units acquired, rent to rent, HMO. Number of units acquired, owned, HMO. Number of units acquired, BRR. I'll not fuck about that for now. So net revenue, rent to rent, SA. When you're doing shit like this, the more you can keep it organized at the beginning, the like more robust these things become for like years to keep. So you can just build on them. This is pretty much what I did with that deal analyzer that I built. You know, just kept it as organized as possible with the formulas, and then just kind of built on it as time went on. And it's the same with any sort of like some spreadsheets I've used for years because they're kind of set up correctly at the beginning. So whilst it's a bit of a ball ache, it works. Net revenue, what are we on here? Owned, HMOs, net revenue, BR. Right, so activity levels required, rent to rent. So what we then want to do is, so we've got 1, two columns here. So we basically need to find out. So if we have one deal, let's just do this. 100 viewings booked equals 20, viewings attended equals 15, offers made equals say 12 and 1. So we do that, and then so to get one deal we need to open 100 conversations. So what we need to do here, equals the sum of that plus that times that. That's not right. Viewings booked. No, that's not right. Why is that not right? Equals date should be 22. Viewings booked 20. 120. Why is that not working? Viewings booked. B5, B8. Oh, that's why. There we go. B22, B22. So what you're basically going to do is, after this, is if you fill in, if you fill in the data sheet with your actual statistics, then it'll start to pump out what activity levels are required. And then you'll start to see whether that's possible or not. Okay, that's fine. So that's for rent to rent, and then we just repeat the process pretty much for so basically in here you want to figure out what your stats are to get one deal. That should be the way that these numbers run. Conversations opened equals B22, B30. Conversation begins bookings and the office made. Let me just test the water here. 5. Bingo. Is everyone following this? Yeah. So. Okay, then what you want to do, next bit is hours. How do I want to do this? Minutes. Spent deal searching, and then we want minutes spent viewing, minutes spent driving to viewings. Is that right? Minutes deal searching, minutes. So let's just say this is to get one deal. So you'll have a gut feeling of, you know, how long this takes. Hold on. No, I need to bring this back. Minutes deal searching for viewing. Minutes spent viewing. Minutes spent on the viewing. And minutes spent driving around /2 viewings. So let's say it takes, I don't know, 40 minutes to actually find a viewing, and then minutes spent on the viewing is whatever, 20 minutes, and it takes us 20 minutes to drive to the viewing. All we're going to do here is basically work out whether the numbers you put in the top are actually feasible to execute based on the manpower that you've got. And that's all this is going to do. So it's all well and good saying, oh, well, I want to acquire 10 units in January and I want to make, you know, 20 grand, but can you physically do it with the resources that you've got? And that's what we've got to execute on. So this is, so we'll call this staffing levels. So we need hours deal searching for viewing. So we need, let's think about this. So we've got how many minutes, how many viewings we need, right? So equals, do I want attended or do I want booked? It should play out this way. So 1 equals that plus that. Plus that times plus that times that.
Ryan, have you got like a degree in Google spreadsheets?
Do you know what? I taught myself how to do this about 5 years ago. You can do all sorts of wonderful stuff. Like this is like Google basics. You start like putting V formulas and lookup tables and all sorts in, and it like makes your life so much easier. What I want to create here is basically so you can pump in this bit here, and then all the numbers, and you're putting your numbers in the data here, And then the rest of it, it'll just like pump out what activity levels you've got to do here, which we're getting to. And then you're going to know whether you're going to be realistically able to achieve that based on what your resources are. Hours deal searching for viewings, 103. Hours spent on the viewing, so equals the sum of that plus, no, what am I doing here? That's not right.
Why are you dividing it by 60?
To put it in hours from minutes. Because like if everyone works like, you know, roughly how like 42 hours a week, you know, that's like a full-time job, right? Just by 40, the number 40. Whereas if it was like however many thousand minutes, you probably wouldn't be able to like break that down as easily. So it's just trying to get the figures clear. Hours spent driving around to viewings is, I'm just going to change that so the figure comes out a bit different. And then we want to steal this formula here.
Right, Leo's been booted out for whatever reason. Needs a pass to get in.
Needs what?
Says it needs a passcode to get in.
Can
you just click the link again?
I'd assume so. I mean,
Oh, he's in.
You in? Oh, cool. Right, so let me just lock this up. I think we'll be good to go. Shame none of you can like sing, and then maybe someone could like sing a song whilst I was doing this.
I heard Leo's got a nice singing voice.
I most definitely do not. Nobody wants to hear that.
Okay, so right, last bit, break this down. We need how can we do this? How can we do this? How can we do this? So Is that right? I was deal searching for viewings. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So equals B. Right, okay, let me just. I think we are nearly there.
So is that bit supposed to be the amount of time
Yeah,
searching for a deal or whatever?
yeah, I'll show you kind of how it works. So manpower, woman power, not being sexist here. Don't want any court claims or anything like that. People power, we'll call it people power, right? People power. Sounds like a kids' TV program. Right. So what we got here is data sheet. So this is you. In fact, anything in light gray is what you fill in. Everything else you do not touch. Okay. So the rest of it you don't touch. So what we do is, first of all, foremost, start here at the data sheet and work out what your average property, your average per property is in terms of net revenue from these areas here. If you, like, say, for example, did lease options instead of one of these, you could easily just change the name here, and it should all still formulate the same. This is just going to give us a rough guide. Remember, that's all business plans are. They're just numbers on spreadsheets. But what I want to make sure we're doing is that our expectations of what we want to achieve are matched by the staffing power. And as long as we've got that, we should get to where it is, because we're all in this now. We've proven the process. We know how to operate. We know how to market. We know what we're looking for. You know, we're past that stage now. This is all about scaling. So, current revenue that you've currently got at the minute as it stands. So this is just basically going to add into the numbers here and make sure that, you know, because we're not standing from a complete fresh start, you know, so we want to add in what business revenue we've got coming in on a recurring basis. And then that'll give us a bit of a cushion for what money we've got to spend if we need to employ any staff. In here, you want to work out everything. In fact, you don't want to change that column or that column. Basically, everything has to filter down to one. So for your rent to rent activity, how many conversations do you open? How many viewings do you book? So on and so forth to get a deal. Same for your BRR activity. And then your activity to get one deal in terms of how many minutes do you spend deal searching for viewings? For a viewing, I'll put that in there for one viewing. Minutes spent on the viewing, roughly, and minutes spent driving around or / to the viewings, okay? So this is all going to be different for everybody. And then deal sources front end, for me, that is researching and teeing the viewing up. And for most of you, you know, you're all doing this activity yourselves. And then deal sources back end, this is time spent on the viewing and time spent driving around, because they should effectively form either two different job roles, or it'll be one job role for somebody else to do. Okay. So if we just put some, let's just work off these numbers here. So we want to acquire, let's just say 2 rental units. We want to do 1 managed unit. We want 1 rent-to-rent HMO, and we are not going to acquire any of that. So we want to take on a total of 4 properties this month. Okay. If our net revenue is going to be that from these properties, our units acquired is going to be that, and our rent units going to be that. One thing, I haven't built it into this spreadsheet because it would mean a bit more, and I don't think anyone is kind of at that stage yet. But when you acquire a BRR unit, obviously the income doesn't drop in the month that you acquire it like it does on rental stuff. So I actually, like my sort of strategies, my spreadsheets, I would have like the income from this acquisition here probably dropping into like this column or this column. But I don't think that's necessary. What you could do is, if you plan to acquire a unit here, rather than putting it in here, you could just put the 1 in here when the actual money will drop into the accounts for that operation. i.e., we've bought a property here, it goes through conveyancing, goes through refurb, we get it tenanted, and that's the first month that we get it paid. Does that make sense? So as your BRR strategy moves forward, you might want to change this spreadsheet slightly. But for now, we'll just focus on rentals. So we're going to generate this in terms of income based on our averages from our total new acquisitions, total new net revenue, 2,200 quid. We've already got 16,200 quid coming in based on this here. And then what we're then going to do is, to acquire these 4 deals, we basically need to open 300 conversations. So either with estate agents or with landlords within Messenger. We need to go on, we need to book 60 viewings. We will attend 45 viewings from the 60 because our data is telling us that that's the drop-off rate. We will make that many offers because, again, the data is telling us that from the viewings we only make that many offers. And then we will ultimately end up with 3 deals, which I would imagine that is it's not quite right. Why is that not right? Bang on 3. Why is that not right? Oh, something's gone wrong. No, it hasn't. No, that's right. I haven't put anything in here for management, of SA management. I don't think SA management comes from like opening conversations and viewings. I think SA management comes from marketing activity more than anything. So I think it's a total different sort of guide. I think your SA management stuff's going to come through the funnels that we build, the leads that we generate. Like if we manage an SA property now, we don't go and view it. We're just like, just give us the details and we'll get it set up, send us the photographs. It's only if we then need to go out and photograph it that we'll get involved. So that's actually right. So we're picking up 1 rented HMO and 2 rented SA units, which is 3. Yeah, that's correct. Activity levels BRR. Obviously, we're not buying any BRR, so there's nothing in there. So staffing levels. So this is based on staff working 40 hours a week for the front end and 40 hours a week for the back end. So that's 80 hours in total that's working for. You know, you could change that, 60 hours, whatever it might be. And then basically to achieve these 3 deals, we need to spend 40 hours deal searching. We need to spend 15 hours viewing, and we need to spend 11 hours driving around. So in terms of people output, that's 66 hours a month. So we actually only need half a person effectively to achieve those results. Now, these numbers are probably a bit skew here, which is why that people sort of obviously in your heads you're thinking, well, I know how hard I have to work to get 3 deals on. It's not possible with half a person working 40 hours a week. So it'll probably make more sense once you actually get your real live data into here. And then from this is the number that we need to be mindful of. So you're like, okay, well, if this goes over 1 and you're currently a 1-man band, then you need to start looking at recruiting, or you're not going to achieve these targets. And what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to reduce these targets because this goes over 1. I want you to lay out what you want to achieve this year. So this column here, which creates this column here. And then from that, we go and find the staff that we need. What you might also see is as you're scaling, you know, this could go like, you know, 4, 8, you know, and therefore this actually then moves up. So you know that in June, you need to start employing people. So when do you start that? You get proactive about it. You start doing it in May. You don't wait until you need them. So based on the numbers that you put in and what you want to earn, it's going to then tell you roughly what activity levels are needed. And then it'll tell you what staff you need at those times just to be able to get deals. Remember, this isn't to run the portfolio. This isn't to, you know, deal with the operations. This is just to get the deals on and bring the money in the front end. So, and then all the totals are obviously down here at the end. And that should play out. That should give you a good idea of what you need for your business. Does that all make sense to everyone? Has anyone got any questions on that?
I just got a question. Just need you to define the people power part again.
Okay.
But front end 30 and back end 30. Like,
okay. So let's assume how many hours a week do you think you spend on deals, on finding deals online?
I don't know, maybe 2, let's just say.
And how many hours a week do you find, or do you go on viewings and all that sort of stuff, driving around?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe 10.
Okay, so if we were to acquire 3 properties in January, then based now this is obviously based on these here. I mean, if you want to give us these, we can. So how many conversations do you need to open to get a deal, do you think? Sorry, to get a viewing?
I don't know, 2, 1, 2, just to get moving.
Hold on, have I done this right? No, we need to work up over. How many offers do you make to get a viewing?
To get a viewing?
Sorry, to get a deal.
So 3 or 4, perhaps.
Okay, how many viewings do you go on versus how many offers you make?
I'd probably still say 4 because I don't tend to go on viewings I know I wouldn't make an offer on.
Okay, that's fine. And how many viewings booked to attended do you find yourself? Do you find that you get on every single viewing you book, or do you find one's cancel?
I would probably say I get on 4 out of 5.
Okay, so that's 5. So how many viewings booked? You got me bamboozled here now. How many conversations on Messenger or an estate agent do you think you'd have to book 5 viewings?
Probably, I don't know, 10, 12.
Okay, so this plays out. So total acquisitions 3. We need to open 36 conversations. We need to book 15 viewings. We need to go on 12 viewings. We'll make 12 offers and we'll secure 3 deals. So we will spend 10 hours searching for properties online. we'll spend 4 hours viewing those properties, and we'll spend 3 hours driving around. So we're not a million miles away. Obviously, that's a bit different to, no, that's right, yeah, 2 hours. And then deal sources front end. So basically, you need 1.1 person on the front end to be bringing in your viewings, and you need 0.16 on the back end based on working 10 hours a week. Actually, no, this is wrong. No, is this? Deal sources front end.
Just
No,
keep...
this would be.
Do you mind? Can I be cheeky? Can I ask you to change the wording on front end and back end? You'll just confuse me with those words. Like, is work leading up to a deal?
So like researching.
Yeah.
Researching, and then whatever, like actually in the field.
Yeah. Yeah, that would help me.
Yeah, no, what we need to put in here is not how many hours it takes. What we need to put in here is like how many hours you work. Let's just say for argument's sake, you work 20 hours a week in your property business.
So this is the amount of free time that you've got willing.
Well, the idea of this is like, okay, I'm going to employ a VA for 20 hours a month. Okay. So they're going to work 5 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to employ a deal sourcer who works in my business, which is more than likely you at this minute in time. I'm going to employ them for 20 hours a month to go on the viewings, do my check sheets and send my videos in so I can then make the offers, right? So that's 5 hours a week. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So based on that, based on the time you've allocated for those team members, we then basically want to work out, is that enough here to get where we want to be based on the numbers? So based on the stats that we've put in here, which also bear in mind, when you take a team member on, they're not going to be as good as what you're achieving. So you probably want to give yourself a bit of leeway. Then this is basically saying that you need 0.78 of a person to be able to run this side of the business. So you've got two people here effectively working, you know, a one-person job as such, you know, because they're only doing 20 hours a week. If you like, say if we put in here that you want to do 10, you'll start to see here that you now need more staff based on the statistics behind the scene of what it takes to do that job role. Yeah? Does that start making sense now?
Yeah. Brilliant bit of data there, mate, honestly.
So when you're getting this starts going over one, if you're a one-man band, you need to start recruiting. Or if your goals are basically bigger than what your capacity is, then you need to start recruiting. Because I never want you to reduce your goals based on your limited capacity, because you can always fix the capacity. You just hire more people and then you work with them and you get them trained up. Does everyone understand that? Is there any questions around that?
No, that's brilliant. You've definitely got a degree in Google spreadsheets.
You want to see some of the wizards on it? Like, you can
whip that up in an hour.
Yeah, I've got one for the accounts where it like looks up the chart of account code and then it puts it into this, and then it Google zaps it into QuickBooks and all sorts. But honestly, it's if you want to build a business out, you want to and you're good with numbers, just go on a Google course. I didn't actually go on a course. I just basically, like, every time I was like, how can I do this in Google? I just typed it into Google, and it would then tell me the formulas, and then you learn them. But anyway, that's a story for a different day. Does anybody want anything else adding into this before we jump off? I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. And I don't want to overcomplicate it, which is why I haven't just give you my spreadsheet, because that would just like bamboozle you. So I thought if we build it out together, you can all see how the numbers fit in, and then what you need to put in the data sheet behind the scenes. And then from that, you should be able to get your business plans, and you should be able to then see the figures. And when you start seeing the figures, it also gives you that little bit of motivation, you know, like, oh, you know, if I actually just acquire, you know, I mean, even if we do something daft, like,
one a month, yeah.
If we do one a month, right? And then, you know, let's say we chuck in a HMO every quarter. I've missed a month, it doesn't matter, right? Based on the activity levels, you know, your total net revenue, that's obviously not going to be per month. That's going to be for the year, but you know, you're making £250,000 based on all these numbers here.
Just based on what you're planning to recruit, not what you've already got.
Yes, no, based on getting one deal a month.
Yeah.
And you know, your net revenue being that, and you know, your conversations, you know, and then what you've already got in the pan is here. So then, you know, that's going to build. Is that right? Yeah. Well, actually, we've got quite. Hold on, we've got quite a bit in here. Let's just say if it's from a standing start, we've got nothing. Equals some of it should be 20, some be 20. I'm not sure, is that right? Total net revenue per month. Plus. No, I think that's not right. Total new net revenue. I'm just going to put something in here. So that's that. I'll just put some data in here so I can make sure this works. 1,500 quid. So equals that plus that. 3,350. Yeah, that's right. Because then we're adding that in, aren't we? That month we're going to add that in that month. So this is building. So so your total net revenue. Yes, that's not a total. Yeah, that's right. So basically, by acquiring that one deal per month plus your HMOs based on these numbers in the back end here, these average per property. So you know, if yours are more, then bump them up. Then by December, you should have a recurring income of 10,900 quid coming in. Does that make sense? So, which that does sound about right. You know, if you acquired like another 14, 15 properties, then you'd have an extra 10 grand a month coming in every single month. You could,
So basically what you want to do is you want to build it out. So say your target is by December next year, you want to earn 15,000. Your target each month to make that money by the end of the year, I suppose. Yeah,
if you want to get to 15 grand recurring income by the end of the year, you just got like, you know, like you could just tweak this, you know, how many units do I need? There you go. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you formulate your plan down the bottom here around like what staff do I need? How many viewings do I need to go on? So the more honest you are with your data here, and probably give yourself a bit of wiggle room as well, the more this is going to play out, and you'll know what you need to put in these. You'll know what you need to do to get those results. And then, you know, really what you want to be doing is having this boxed off by Sunday night. And then as of Monday morning, you start committing to these results. And every week you then, you know, you want to be breaking it down to, you know, actually have like, you know, a KPI tracker, you know, and you want to have probably something like that. oh shit, that.
So what you plan to do versus what you actually did do.
Yeah, so, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a so we need, hold on, how can we do this? Yeah, so if you just put in here like 5, 2, 1, 1, 0, and then same for that, and then it would just be a case of equals that minus piss off equals that. That minus no. Minus
See, now you're just getting really deep into it, aren't you? Just keep going.
Honestly, I can spend hours in spreadsheets. But the more you can track yourselves, the more you know whether you're doing enough or not. You know, it's that simple.
Do you go downstairs in the evening and the missus goes, "How many spreadsheets did you make today, Ryan?" Shows how you've had a good day then.
Yeah. Oh, fuck off. Yeah. I'm expecting you lot to be like creating spreadsheets after this. Right, so and this for fucking So these gray areas are what you fill in, remember? Gray and this here. So then we'll have shortfalls here. Transfer balance, ban, and just copy that over there, minus 12. Equals B47 minus B26. Yeah, so that should. There you go. So if you keep an eye on your KPIs every time you go on a view and every time you make a conversation, etc., just put them in this sheet here all along the way. And then this will tell you basically what you need to do that month to achieve your targets to ultimately get to your net revenue. Make sense?
Yeah, thanks for building that one, Ryan. Brilliant.
No
Yes, perfect. Cheers.
Has everyone got a copy of this?
Good.
I'll pop the link in the chat. Make sure you click file, make a copy, or you'll end up like writing data on each other's sheets. So if you can all pull the sheet out, I will put this in Kajabi, probably not today, and I'll pin it in a actual like lesson. But for now, if you just use that if you want to crack on with it, obviously if you kind of get it, just ping a message in the group or whatever. Everyone happy?
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan.
Yes, pal.
Cool.
That's
All right.
brilliant. Thanks, Ryan.
No bother. Enjoy yourselves. Speak to you later.
Cheers. Bye-bye.